afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Sandip from CMS.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us. I would like to, it's a good opportunity for us to talk about the event.
Yeah.
You are excited?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a very unique event. I must compliment CMS Group that on our 25th year, they are venturing into this kind of way of celebrating. It's very interesting, yeah.
Absolutely. So I think the basic idea was that not only that we celebrate the 25th year, but there are challenges that we have been facing and not that we have solution to all the challenges. And we thought, why not get across to people who are in the sector and also dealing with solving the challenges and look at what experience have they gained over the years. But can we bring it all together into a forum where we discuss about these things? I think that was the genesis of the idea.
In fact, what I feel is that, especially if we talk of the development sector, people who are impact organizations or whatever have a particular view of life,
right?
And they feel they are lone warriors in that struggle,
right?
And very rarely there's a meeting of unconnected people,
right?
Yeah. And the people in this sector are fairly inward looking because they think that nobody else understands that theme or that issue or that target audience as deeply as they understand. And how can, so I think the fact that they are coming together itself is a big movement, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're thankful to all of them who have subscribed and very excited about the event, like you.
Yeah.
And we also look forward because I think the challenge that we are dealing with is that these societal challenges are, some of them are quite knotty, very complex issues, intractable issues, and nobody is sitting there with a solution who is going to solve all of this, because it is so dynamic that the moment you think you have reached somewhere in terms of finding a solution, you see the problem has taken a different magnitude, right?
Correct. And it has created some unintended consequences
as well. Absolutely, absolutely. So I think the 2 days was actually for that, and the idea was that do we address everything, or do we take some of the issues and do it? Because there are so many things.
And what I liked also is that apart from the 2 days face to face, the group has committed to work on it for some more months.
Yes.
To come to some nitty-gritty or some concretization of what was discussed in the 2 days.
Yes.
And they may even be able to add some more people, more ideas, more resources to improve the richness of what happens in the 2 days.
Yes. So I think what we thought was that in terms of just getting together and discussing would probably not be very useful. Why not we commit to something, right? All of us, together we commit to something, and what could that commitment be better than we finding out a solution to those challenges, right? So therefore the whole concept of solution circle actually came from there, is saying that all these duo thinkers, funders, researchers, academicians coming together, why can't we put our collective knowledge and intelligence together and then debate and deliberate on the issue, then find a way forward, right? I think that was the idea of the solution circle which came forward.
And to my mind, see, this can be done, let's say, if I read 10 different books. Okay, I mean, how X organization did it, how Y organization did it, etc. First of course, case studies are not available, but assuming that they are available, it is still not sufficient.
Right.
A live interaction.
Right.
Of the person with his biases, with his perspective, with his subjectivity, is a more enriching experience.
Absolutely.
Rather than just a third-party reading of a case or viewing a film or something like that.
Right. And what it does actually is that it also, it challenges us in terms of opening up to what are the other possibilities in the social change space, right? We are so much fixated on our own ways of doing things, my own experience of what is successful, what is not successful. We don't really transcend that boundaries to see what else is happening, and therefore what are the possibilities of bringing those changes.
Or even questioning the so-called problem that I am solving, is it a problem?
Right.
Or is there a better way of understanding the problem?
Right.
Because what is a problem for me may not be a problem for you.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Very, very nice way of saying actually is that the same statement, problem statement, can be framed in very different ways. And the way you phrase the problem, a solution can be found out very differently.
Like for example, in my college days, we had a competition of our professors, and one extempore speech we had asked them to. So we had a professor who says that my first love was a topic given to him. So he said, if I look at a girl, he's a Muslim guy in a burqa, and it's a half shown kind of a thing, not shown. So it creates curiosity, etc., etc. It looked very romantic. I had another lady friend of mine sitting next to me. He said, Shirish, do you know how uncomfortable it is to be in a burqa?
Right.
So what looks to be a half covered beauty is a suffocation for somebody else.
Yes.
So the statement of the problem from one person's perspective is very different from the other person's perspective.
Absolutely. And you know that there are actually 4 solution circles. I mean, we zeroed down on 4 solution circles. Transform from scale is one, which is what both of us are part of.
Yes.
Apart from that, we have tectonic, which deals with technology for development. The third one is social behavior change. And the fourth one is innovative financing. I mean, beyond that, there were other, but we thought 4 we take and then...
let us pilot out with 4.
And then see how we go about it, how this unfolds, because we want to have a regular engagement like this, and this is a long-term engagement. This is not an event, as you know. And Shirish, thank you very much.
I think also one more feature I liked is that it's not just that 4 circles work within themselves.
Yes.
But there's also something like a marketplace.
Yes.
Where the output of the interim output of these 4 circles is put to test, so to say, by visitors from other circles. So there's some cross-pollination of ideas across circles, across sectors, across perspectives, which can possibly enrich the understanding or challenge the understanding of the people in the circle. I think that would make it even more rich in terms of the interactions, in my view.
And it is also going beyond that, because the challenge is not only for the sake of challenging, the challenge is also to contribute. So it's a very constructive approach to the entire deliberation.
It's not that I just make some comments and get out,
and then go away, right? I forget about it. It's not about that. If I have to challenge, I have a different thought in my mind. I contribute that, and then I say that, hey, can we do this actually? And then see over the next time period, whatever we agree.
And I will also get to know how different people are looking at these ideas. Because the whole idea of marketplace will have some currency which tells me that these ideas seem to be liked or valued by some people. So I also can calibrate my own understanding of what the themes are and which seem to be having attraction in the minds of people, etc., etc. So that's so there's a learning at self level, and there's also learning at the problem level.
Yes. And I would like you to bring it to the specific solution circle, Shirish, of which you are the co-chair. So there are 2 threads actually, right? So one is looking at the social impact organizations and the challenges of social impact organization in the current context, where there has been several ecosystem shift. One, for example, the funding scenario has changed completely, right? The Western donors have actually withdrawn, but there is a new age donors, like the private philanthropy in India is growing. So the first thread actually deals with how do we transform these organizations to meet the demand of social change in the country, but at the same time, how do they kind of leverage the new opportunity that is coming our way? And that's where we thought, because it has been your passion for such a long time, and you have worked with so many different organizations. What do you feel about...
So what I have seen is that scaling up per se has not been an issue.
Right.
Okay, for example, in the past, people have scaled up by like one donor donating the money and scaling up. So I have seen an organization having 3,000 centers across country, but largely because the program got accepted by the government and it got scaled up.
Right.
But with the change in the whole scenario of the funding changing, the how do I say, the attrition in the social sector, both in terms of employees coming, not coming, the nature of the expectations of the new age workforce of the social sector, even the community which at one point of time was a community which was willing to say, okay, साहब कुछ बोल रहे हैं, या some nice gentleman is coming from the city and telling us something, but even the community has now become suspect. The community also is quite alert. The community has its own way of looking. With the spread of mass media, there are influences on the community, are also multifaceted. So this whole gamut of creating a solution and taking it to many places has changed. Similarly, people have realized that India, with its diversity, the same solution cannot work in the same format. In fact, the same solution itself cannot work in the different context within the same community. Right. So, how do we deal with this issue in this complexity is the point. And like I have worked with many corporate sector organizations also in terms of scaling up. But the fundamental issue in the social sector is that in the corporate sector, I mean, though some people are talking about whatever three tier bottom line, etc., but most of them are concerned with making money or making profit and giving dividends. So, but in social sector, we're talking about I helping people to grow plants. Then growing plants will give to more income. More income will mean they'll put the girl child in the school. The girl child will go to school and become a sarpanch one day and make the gender just society. So we are looking at multiple levels of causation.
And the change pathway is quite long, right? In the longer period of time.
So we are not happy by saying that, okay, I am helping people to grow trees, and the trees have grown and the mortality is that much. That's how a corporate sector guy will look like. That I am feeding so many people, they are happy, they are paying my bills and I am making profit. And I will feed in such a fashion that they keep coming back to my store again and again. But this is not sufficient condition. So you are looking for multiple levels of causation. Secondly, as a doer, you are putting a lot of restrictions on yourself. That while I do what I do, I should be gender just, and I should use the technology which is environment friendly, and I should be inclusive, etc. So there's a lot of demanding happening on the way I do it, and also the consequences of what I do. And to that extent, the impact, quote unquote, in the social sector or what the social organizations are looking for is fundamentally different from the corporate sector organizations, as you were to frame that.
And the other thing that we thought is that from the analysis that we have been doing, we understand that the private philanthropy is eager to bring in its contribution to the changing the social sector. At the same time, the social impact organization are also looking for partners. But I think both need to walk towards each other, and they need to join hand, so that the world views actually meet, right? And they know, like for example, if you are from the corporate sector and I am from the social change sector, we need to come together and then understand each other's views, right? Your perspective and my perspective, and for that matter, even government's perspective. Government has a big responsibility in
managing all that.
In fact, you must be knowing that government is the largest donor. Social development change isn't in the country, right? And obviously none of us are going to replace that, right? So therefore, perspectives of these significant actors matter quite a bit, right? Unless we come together, unless we make that conscious attempt to come together, understand the challenges, understand what is the ask, right? Therefore, how can I help you with my expertise, right?
No, and also what I have realized is that especially the private sector donors who are coming newly, their ideas of time frames required, their ideas of what is effectiveness are also quite different from the traditional multi-sectoral donors, etc. So the younger donors or the newer donors are more interested in more concrete outputs in a shorter duration of time, which can be scaled up quickly, etc. Rather than, okay, I'm saying, okay, this perspective is getting built, these right-based what your framework is getting established, a conversation is happening.
Right.
That conversation happening is not good enough for most of the quote unquote corporate donors, because they don't understand what is conversation happening.
And maybe there is an eagerness to see that change happening and change happening shortly, so that they can derive satisfaction out of it. Which I don't think is unreasonable.
Unfair,
it's not.
I'm saying it's different from what the social sector organizations were used to with respect to the previous generation kind of donors. So there's a fundamental difference in many different ways. Even the whole idea of talking about social entrepreneurship as different from social work.
Yes,
itself is a metaphoric.
And that's change. The generation change, right? So 30-40 years ago it was probably social service like that, but now we're talking about social enterprise.
And then there is a set of people in the social sector who believe that social enterprise is about market, and markets can do no good. Period. So I mean, there are multiple perspectives, and all perspectives are held very tightly.
Yes.
Because conviction is also connected to how tightly you hold a perspective, somehow. So that's an added, complexity or complication or feature of this whole dialogue or the conversation that is happening.
Yes. So thank you so much. I mean, for coming, and then I think we are going to enjoy this in your company, and also there are so many erudite, experienced experts who are coming. Very excited to meet, and
also like understanding them in the here and now.
Yes.
So if I read their papers, I get one understanding. But if a person is speaking from a particular context, it gives you a different flavor of what and we are assuming that the people who are coming here is a microcosm.
Yes.
Which represents the larger macrocosm of this sector.
Yeah.
So if we can infer something about the sector, what is happening, that itself is a very interesting thing to look forward to.
Yes.
So I'm quite excited to understand or get a feel of what is happening, and if we can come together and go somewhere, I think it's and I think in the next 7 months we should have a little more focused understanding and more focused efforts.
Yes. So it will give us that opportunity. Yes. Thank you. Thank you
very
much.
Look forward.
Yes, me too.